In this video, we're going to be talking about line work. This is going to be a hands-on exercise on creating lines. I've already opened up a basic drawing and started my initial sketch, and I'm ready to start drawing lines. As I draw lines, we've discussed already that will automatically imply geometric constraints for me as I go. Some of the tips that may help you as you start drawing lines are what some of these glyphs can do. So as I draw this out, if I hold my mouse at the end of the line, it'll turn gray and it becomes an arc. If I hold my mouse over the center point of a line, it'll turn green, telling me that I've grabbed the center point. If I find the end point, once again, it'll turn green, telling me that it's the end point of the line. If I want to create predefined shapes, such as polygons or octagons, I can use the polygon command. Very similar to the AutoCAD polygon command, it'll come up and ask you how many sides you want, and then do you want it to be inscribed or circumscribed about a circle. It's very simple to use, and the only changes you can make are how many sides it is and the in or out. Once you select your center point, then you can just draw out your polygon. It's very simple to use, and the polygon is editable. It's smart enough to know that if you put a dimension on here, from side to side, for example, it knows that you want to scale the entire object. It's very intelligent. One of the other options you have with lines in the sketch command are fillets and chamfers. If you select two lines, Inventor will try to add a fillet to it the best it can. While sometimes you must put the fillet into the sketch, it is a preferred method to add the fillet later to make it easier to edit in the modeling environment. By adding it to the sketch, I'm locking myself down to editing it in the sketch. That can make it kind of difficult to find which sketch it is in a real complex part. So only when necessary do I actually add a 2D fillet into a part. The same goes for chamfer. It works the same way. Works very well in the 2D, but I try to add all of my chamfers and fillets in the 3D environment. With the sketching environment, line work is editable until it's locked, meaning that we can come in here and drag it into place that we may want it to go. It's very simple to use, and it's very powerful at the same time. I'm going to go ahead and delete this out and just do a real quick sketch to show you some of the modify tools that are available when dealing with a line. Once you have your lines in here, the most common modify tool is the offset command. Unlike AutoCAD, you don't have to give it a dimension. You can just grab the line and drag it. It'll create a new version of it. To set your distance, you use your dimensional constraints to control it. Some of the other options are trim and extend. Inventor is very intelligent, so to trim, you just click the trim command and it'll go back to the next object. To extend, works the same way. Move, copy, and rotate. Most of the time you can just use drag, but there are times when you may need to rotate or move multiple objects at one time. So we can select rotate here. Say rotate about that point. It's going to edit the geometric constraints as well. It's telling me it's going to override those. I can put in an exact angle, 180 for example. I can make a copy of it. I can do a precise input, and then I can also optimize for a single selection if I need to, and then tell it how do I want it to relax the dimensional and geometric constraints. Do I want it to ask me? Do I want it to always break them, never break them? Hit apply. So now I have my little shape here rotated around. Copy and move work very similarly, and then we have scale and stretch. For the most part, stretch, once again, you can drag. Scale you should never have to use. You should always be able to use the dimensional constraints to drive the size of your geometry, so you really shouldn't have to scale it. About the only time I've ever ran into using scale, whenever I was using information brought over from AutoCAD and I needed to adjust the entire thing at one time. I encourage you to play with drawing a few lines here just to get familiar with the environment and to get a little bit more comfortable. We're going to do a lot of things repeatedly just so that you can get used to doing it and become second nature to you.